Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and I have a fun slimline card to share with you today. Hey, so I'm using Jaded Blossom's Girl Gnome dies, along with their border dies, their Build a Christmas Tree die, their Pinecone dies, their Gnome Dies Christmas Add Ons 1, their Merry Christmas Gnomie Stamp Set and Outline dies, and their Fireplace dies. And I'm using Doodlebug's Christmas Magic 12-inch paper line, their Milk and Cookies 6-inch paper line, along with their Gingham Linen Rainbow Petite prints. And I did put together these two images previously, one during our release and review for the October release, and one during that at the same time, but during the Gnome Dies Christmas Add-ons 1 assembly video. So first of all, I made a paper tray ink slimline card, 8.5 by 7 1/8, scored at 3 9/16. And I'm adding a strip of paper from that Christmas Magic 12-inch paper line. That's the one with the little borders on it. And I trimmed it out. Now I'm using the American Crafts Wonderland collection. Now this is not necessary, but what I was looking for was a wood grain paper, and I cut out strips that are 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to be using that as my base for my floor, for my design. So I'm just using my ATG tape to add some ATG tape to that. I cut out a piece of paper from that Doodlebug Christmas Magic 12-inch paper line, and I'm going to cover the front of my card with that, and I will trim off the overhang. There you have it. And like I could have cut it exactly to size, but I'm kind of challenged when it comes to that. I'm telling you, every time I cut something exactly to size when I want to cover a whole card base, it never fits. I don't know what's wrong with me, so I'm better off leaving a little bit to trim. Okay, so these are two pieces of that wood grain paper, and they're 3/4 of an inch. And those are from 6-inch pads, from a 6-inch pad. But like I said, you could use any wood grain paper for this. This was just in this pad that I had. And I'm going to line that up. You won't even see the gap. And there you go. So I line that up, and I will trim off the overhang with a pair of scissors. And like I said, any wood grain, or if you don't want a wood floor, you can use whatever you'd like for your floor. So there you have it. Now I cut out our border dies with paper tray ink white cardstock. And I cut it out, I cut the thicker border out just once, and then the thinner border out once. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer them up like it's baseboard. And I'm just pulling out my art glitter glue, and I'm just going to add these pieces of paper down like baseboard. And you'll see I could have cut out a couple of each, right? And just, laid them across the whole thing, but I decided it's going to be hidden by the fireplace, so why bother, right? So I'm just going to, I cut them off as to where I can cover up the gap. And then I can kind of stretch the, to make these two pieces that I cut work. So now I'm going to add in my next strip using my art glitter glue. So this is just a really quick and easy kind of Christmas scenic card, or Christmas scene card, I guess you'd say. And it's like I said, super easy stuff. So there you have it. So that is my cute little Mrs. Claus, and then that is the fireplace die. So cute. So you'll notice that the background, I used like a, what's it called? A brick pattern paper from Doodlebug. That was from the Milk and Cookies 6-inch pad. That's an oldie, but you can use any brick paper. And there you go. And everything that I've used on this card will be listed. So I did cut that fireplace out a couple of extra times with some scrap cardstock, because I'm just going to layer that up. So when I lay it across, when I lay it across what I have going on the card, it's not going to dip and cause any issues. So I'm just sort of building up that back piece there with some extra paper, and then I'm just checking it to make sure it'll sit flat. And it does. So I'm going to add this to my card base with some ATG tape. Now the grays are from American Crafts and close to my heart, but like I said, everything will be listed on my blog. So I'm doing a mixture of ATG tape and art glitter glue, and I'm going to pop that down on the front of my card base. So that polka dot paper is kind of acting like my wallpaper, right? Because I figured Mrs. Claus would have like a rockin' wallpaper in her house, wouldn't she? I don't know. So now I'm going to add the little fireplace, you know, the fireplace grate and the log and then the fire. There you have it. I just weight it in between just to make sure it sticks down well. I'm going to pop up that little chunk of fire that I pre-put together with some dimensionals. I don't even know where those ones came from. What are those? Are those scrapbook? No, 3D foams. Yeah, scrapbook adhesives. And they're black actually, but it doesn't really matter. They don't really show. And the paper that I used on the fire is Orange Zest Paper Tray ink and then Sunshine cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. So I'm just going to put that on with my reverse tweezers. And there you have it. So pretty easy. So now I'm just going to add her little accoutrement to Mrs. Claus. So I'll have her little jug of milk and then her little chocolate chip cookie. I'm going to pop that chocolate chip cookie up. And her skin was cut out of P13 Skin Tones stamping pad as per usual. And like I said, everything will be listed on my blog that I made, that I used to make this cute little Mrs. Claus. So isn't she cute? Just cute. And I used my reverse tweezers to just kind of, you know, hold that bottle of milk in place because I find vellum is tricky to stick down sometimes. Now, this little string of lights came from that Build a Christmas Tree die set. And first I cut it out of grasshopper cardstock from Doodlebug. And then I cut all the little lights out of Paper Tray Ink Pure Poppy. But then I decided I wanted some white glitter ornaments. So then I decided it would be easier and faster if I just cut it out with the glitter cardstock from Simon Says Stamp and then trim off the little bulbs. And this was much faster because the other bulb, there's only one. So you got to run it through a million times to cut them out, right? So this saves a lot of time. And now I'm going to use glossy accents to stick down these little bulbs. I'm just going to alternate. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I kind of wanted a mixture of that Pure Poppy and the white glitter ornaments. And you know, like I always say, Pure Poppy is my favorite red from from Paper Tray Ink. So I'm just using my Studio Katia embellishment wand to pick up these tiny little pieces and get them in place. And really, it did not take long to do this, although this is sped up 2 times, but it didn't take long. It's easier when you're, you know, gluing down little tiny pieces if you're using this, you know, an embellishment wand or something sticky to pick them up. It would be really hard to use reverse tweezers to pick up all those little pieces. So there you have it. And I'm just going to weight that down with an acrylic block while I get my second one done. So this is going to decorate the top of my fireplace. I decided to, you know, create like a garland, and then I'm going to weave these lights in the garland, or at least that was my plan. But you know, it's life's tricky, so it turned out pretty good. I was picturing, you know, to be able to hide that string of lights a little bit better in my brain, but you know, it turned out pretty well. So I'm just finishing off putting all these little lights on, and then I will complete the rest of this card. I love these Christmas gnome add-ons. I just think that they are the cutest little things and super fun to put together. So now these little pieces of greenery came from our Pinecone dies, and I'm going to stick them down onto this string of lights. So the darker green is cut out of just an American Crafts dark green cardstock, and then the lighter green is all cut out of that Doodlebug grasshopper. They are both, they both have a texture to them, so that's kind of nice. So I'm just trying to weave in this greenery as well as I can. What can I say? Originally, I was going to put in those other types of greenery on the, you know, on the fireplace, but I end up using them later on the inside of the card because I cut them out. I thought I might as well not waste them, right? So there we are. So I'm just trying to weave in this greenery to make a garland. And then I will pop this all down on the front of my fireplace. I kind of have to figure out where that Mrs. Claus is going to sit, just so I know, how it has to look on the right side. Like if anything really, depending on how much shows. And I'm just trying to, like I said, weave those greenery in. And then I will, put this on the fireplace. That's kind of fun, right? And not all that hard. Like it's really just a lot of gluing these together. And there's my little garland. And I'm going to stick that down onto my fireplace. I don't want it hanging so it's hanging over the edge of my card, because it is quite fine and you don't want it to catch on your card. So that's what I do. So I'm going to apply some art glitter glue to this greenery and stick it down onto this fireplace. And like I said, if you want to see me put this fireplace together, just check out the October 2022 release and review. So I'm going to stick down this greenery on my fireplace, and I'm going to weight it down. And there you have it. So I think it turned out pretty well. And now I'm going to add my little sentiment. I'm going to stick that down flat. That is Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock, and I've stamped with VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink. So I have a sentiment, believe in the magic of Christmas. There you go. And then my Mrs. Claus is going to park it right to the right-hand side of the fireplace. And then I can kind of decide, what else I'm going to do to this card. So like I said, I really do love these, Christmas add-on gnomes. So cute. And lots of fun, right? I've got a bunch of these to use on cards, so I've got to make a few Christmas cards coming up. And now that I'm done with my Halloween cards, I love making Halloween cards. They're just so fun. And fall, because, fall is my favorite. Now I'm going to double up on those, on that scrapbook adhesive foam. I'm just going to double that up, on the right-hand side of her. And I'm just making sure that she's not dipping, covering up on that, or standing next to the fireplace there. So I'm just going to use some scraps of cardstock. No one will see this except for you and me, right? I'm just trying to make sure she's nice and flat. And then I will be able to adhere her to my card front. See, I'm just checking to make sure she's not dipping or anything crazy. I'm going to peel off the release paper from this foam. And then I'll use some art glitter glue on the other side of her so she sticks down well on top of that fireplace. So there we have it. So, not too difficult. And I'm just going to pop her in place. She is so cute. I just love this little gnome. Ugh. Just the cutest. And there you have it. So now I've decided I'm going to add a couple of more extra lights just, on my little fireplace. I'm just seeing if there's any more gaps there. I'm just going to add one more there near her little hat, just because I'm, trying to have an overall look of lights and, what it looks like. And there you have it. So pretty easy. So now I'm taking my Spectrum Noir glitter marker or pen or whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to apply some glitter to the red poppy or pure poppy little lights on this card. So it's pretty easy. Remember, I used Simon Says Stamp glitter, white glitter paper for the other lights, so I just wanted it to have a little bit of shine. And there you have it. And now I'm going to add on a couple little stockings. Those were cut out of Paper Tray Ink, Pure Poppy, and white cardstock. There, and I'm just going to try and figure out how I'm going to fit another one on there. I'm going to slip it behind Mrs. Claus a little bit. Sort of gives the hint of it being there. Now, if I was smart, I would have stuck that down before I stuck her down. But, we don't know where the design is going to take us, right? Now I'm pulling off a sticker from that Christmas Magic 12-inch paper set from Doodlebug, and I'm just going to cover up that white area in between the two little border. That's like border paper. You know how Doodlebug has like stripy paper? I just cut 2 of them out. And that was what I was using on the bottom of this card. But I just covered it up with that sticker, which is kind of fun. And now I'm using my sentiment on the inside. That is also from that Merry Christmas Gnome stamp set and outline dies. And this one says, Merry Christmas to my Gnome, stamped on Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock, and then with VersaFine Claire Nocturne ink. And I'm just using some score tape on the back because I'm going to add some of those, die cuts to the inside just for a little bit of fun, right? So I'm going to stick them to either side of this sentiment, to make it look kind of wreathy or garlandy or whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to, sort of stick them to the back. And I thought score tape would be the easiest, right? And I'm just arranging them. These don't have to be perfect. It's just to sort of give a hint or an illusion of kind of like a Christmas bow or whatever you want to call it. And those were also cut out of that Doodlebug's Grasshopper cardstock. So I already cut them out for the front. So I figured I might as well use them, right? I'm trying to decide where they're going to go. And I decide to put them on the lower right-hand corner, of that border paper on the inside of my card. And I'm just going to stick this down. Like I said, there's score tape on the center. And then I added some art glitter glue to the little greenery pieces. And there you have it. And I'm going to add a few of the little extra lights that I cut out, because why not, right? Just going to pop those in place just for a little bit of fun. And then that makes the inside a little bit pretty, Now, hopefully, if you have got your hands on these, Christmas gnomes from Jaded Blossom, that you will share all your creations with us over on the Jaded Blossoms Garden of Creativity on Facebook or our Instagram. We'd love to see them. So now I'm adding some glossy accents to each and every one of these little lights. Even the glitter paper from Simon Says Stamp. It gives it a really nice glassy, glittery look. I quite like it. So I'm just going to add, like I said, the glossy accents to each one. And it's easy because it's in this cheapo bottle with a needle tip. I think I got them from Amazon at one point. Anyways, I'm just adding all that glossy accents to all these little lights. And I think that it just looks so pretty when it dries. And now I've decided I'm going to make her glasses glossy. And I start out just putting some in the center of the glasses, thinking I'll just make the glass glossy, but then I decide, no, I want her whole glasses to be glossy. It's a little design thing of mine. If they're glasses and it's supposed to be clear glass, I love using some glossy accents. Yes, Sammy, I hear you. I know. The cat's come for a visit. Sam's commenting. He says, stop yapping on that video of yours and pay attention to me. There we go. So that is all. So thank you so much for stopping by. Be sure to hop on over to the Jaded Blossom blog, get inspired, the Jaded Blossom store to get your hands on these amazing products. And thanks as always for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. And hopefully we will see you soon in my next one. Bye everyone.